Okay, we're going to look at acids. And acids go with covalent because acids are going to start with an H. Hydrogen, if you have hydrogen at the beginning, it's a molecule. It's a covalent bond. So HCl would have a single bond. The one valence electron would bond with the 7 from chlorine. It's a covalent bond. All acids, pretty much all acids, are going to start with H. Acids start with H, bases end with OH. So if something starts with an H, other than water, H2O, you're not going to consider water. But water, when we do study acids and bases, water can be an acid and it can be a base. Water is very unique. But besides water, if something starts with an H, we're going to assume it's an acid. And then we're going to use our table that is also in your book, I believe. Maybe not. Yep, bottom of page 250, which is the same as the table on your worksheet. So when you're using that table, the first word has the prefix hydro to use as part of the compound, but it depends on what it ends with. So if I look at looking at your table, there's just kind of a basic part to it. So when I look at the anion, so my anion can end with "ide," can end with "ite," like chlorite, bromite, or it can end with "ate," like sulfate, phosphate, chloride. So here I'm looking at this. This anion ends with "ide." It is chloride. So if I look at my cheat sheet, if it ends with "ide," I'm going to add a hydro to it, and it will end with "ic." So HCl is hydrochloric acid. So when you're naming acids, you're always going to look at the end of the last part of it. So this would be hydrochloric acid. I'll use that as my...
Does it always end in ic?
Yep, will always end in ic. I see. If I have something, so that was Cl. If I have something that ends in ite, like let's say chlorite, and here again it's going to be an H, so I'm going to have HClO2.
How do you know if it ends in ide or ic?
Because you're looking at what the anion is. Cl is chloride, ends with ide. ClO2 is chlorite. So if it ends with ite, I'm going to look at my little thing, and it says OUS. So this, if I had HClO2, it would be simply chlorous acid. The only time you use the hydro in front is if it ends with ide. That's the only time you ever use that. And then the last example, if I have chlorate, so I have HClO3. Then, if you look at your sheet, it says stem and it says ic. So that would be chloric acid. So when you are given a formula, the H is going to always be in front. You're going to look at whatever the back or the anion is, and it will either end with ide, ite, or ate. And depending on what it ends with, that's how you're going to figure out how to name the acid. And we'll do the practice. We'll do the practice problems in the book for those also. And once you practice that a few times, it's not so bad. So here, an oxyacid is any acid that has a hydrogen and an oxygen in it. So here I have HNO3. So here, all I'm going to look at, you can read all this, but all I'm going to look at is this. What is NO3? Nitrate.
So are we gonna have to like memorize like the three and like if it's a nitrate or nitrite?
Nope, because this is on that cheat sheet that you already have. NO3 is on your polyatomic cheat sheet.
So we can use that on the test?
You can use that on the test. The new one that I gave you, not the one with the acids at the top. So NO3 is nitrate. It ends with 8. Looking at your table, if it ends with 8, what do I change 8 to? It. So this would simply be nitric acid. Because the anion ends with 8. It is an oxyacid simply because it has hydrogen and oxygen in it. So there's the table. And this table I will have for you for your test as well. So you'll get to, I'm not expecting you to memorize this table. Eventually you might be able to, but right now I'm not expecting that. Acids, whether it's HCl or HNO3, can have a common name. So here again, water. And this was on that other sheet as well. HCl, if you buy it like at Menards, a lot of times it's called muriatic acid. Have you heard that term before? You can buy that like at Menards and things like that. So muriatic acid is the same thing as hydrochloric acid. Aspirin is a type of acid. And aspirin, I don't expect you to memorize that one either. Table, you can do on your website. Naming formulas. Basically here, look at the formula. Does it start with an H? If it starts with an H, then I'm going to follow this route. If it doesn't start with an H, oh, this is all on acids. If it ends with "ide," I am going to go this way. If it doesn't end with "ide," I'm going to go this way. And there's actually, I'll kind of give you a shortcut later on how to figure them all out. So you can use this, but I personally think that there's a better one coming later. And then the last one, not a lot for your review here. Rules for naming compounds. Basically, you need prefixes. How are acidic solutions named? You look at the anion and then figure out the rest of it. Oxyacid has a hydrogen and an oxygen in it. And that's all of section 2.